Kia ora te whānau. Today I wanted to show you a tool for both rangahau and just in our general day lives to help disseminate lots of information or to collate lots of information using AI. Now the difference between this tool and say other general AI tools is that while other tools might search and find sources for the material that it creates the answer around, in this tool, you decide what sources the AI has to go from. And that tool is called Google NotebookLM. So I'm going to come into Google and just search for NotebookLM. Okay. I'm using a free account. There are paid accounts, but you can get this for absolutely no cost. Okay, so I'm going to click on Try NotebookLM. Now I've got some notebooks already. So I've got this one that I've created. The top one are just featured notebooks by Google. I don't really want to look at them, but I'm going to show you how to create a new notebook. So I'm going to click on Create a New Notebook. Now here we put in the sources that we want. Our sources can be websites. It can be things from our Google Drive. We can copy and paste text in here. We can actually search the web here for sources. It can even be videos from YouTube. So I've got a couple of websites here. I'm going to come select this first one, copy the link, come back. I'll click on websites. I'm going to paste that link. I'll just put a enter, come to the second link, copy, paste, enter. I've got two videos that I want. So copy that one. Paste it, and then I've got one last link here. Okay, I'll insert those. While it's grabbing them, I'm also going to add more sources. Here in my downloads, I've got three PDFs. I'm going to highlight all of them, and I'm going to drag and drop them on top of that, and it's now going to add them. And as it's adding them, it's scraping all the data, and all of these sources are what it's actually going to use to create the outputs. So from these sources, I can then start asking it questions. Now that's just a very, very simple kind of question that I'm asking. You get to ask far more complex questions as we go through. So here we can see it's giving us an overview of it, but what it also has is it's going to link to the actual source that we've provided. Okay, so where it stated something, it's actually going to link to that area. So we can check the outputs, which we need to do with AI, because AI can hallucinate, it can make things up. It's offered some recommended questions, okay? But I can interact with it just like I would any kind of AI tool. What makes it really powerful is our studio options. And this is where we can get it to do for different things. So audio, we can create an AI podcast based on these sources. Okay? I'm just going to come back to the sources. If there's a little triangle, okay, I can have options. I can choose, do I want to do a deep dive, brief, critique, debate? Okay, so I can create a debate between two hosts with different perspectives. I can add in information. Focus on the images in Aotearoa. Okay. How long should it be? I'll click on generate that, and we'll see it'll start generating that. Okay. Slide decks are a little bit like presentations. Okay. A video overview gives you a video explainer or kind of overview of the concepts provided in your sources. Now, all of these can take a bit of time, especially video and audio. Mind map is a cool one. So I'm going to generate a mind map. Reports. So if I click on here, I can create a briefing doc. I can create a study guide. So it'll create a study guide for me to help my journey into this kaupapa. blog posts, create my own flashcards to help me learn, quizzes, infographics. I'm going to click on infographic. Okay, the style of the infographic, should it be portrait, square, okay, standard, detailed, concise, and then a data table. Okay, so pulling out data from the sources, even qualitative data. Now, all of these, it's not going to go outside the sources that we have chosen. It's going to stick with these sources. But I can get all of these also just on specific sources. So say I just want to have a look at this one, AI Tools and Society Impacts on Cognitive Offloading. Okay, so if I just want to analyze this, I'll select that source. Okay, or I can select a couple of sources. And once again, my studio options, I can create all of these based on just the sources that I've selected. I can always come in and add more sources if I want, and I can also always search the web to find more things. Here's the mind map, and we can expand the mind map. And then when we get to the end of the mind map, we can actually click on it and it'll find the source for us, just to help us kind of visualize the data that's been provided. Okay, let's go policy and governance and Indigenous data licenses. So you can see, in terms of disseminating a huge amount of information, finding clarity in a lot of sources, being able to visualize and help you understand, it can be very, very useful. I'm going to come back and have a look at some of the stuff that I've created previously. So I'm going to come in here. We can see I've got an explainer video. I've got a thematic overview. I've got a podcast. I can have an interactive mode with the podcast. So let's play the podcast.
You know, when mapmakers first drew borders across the globe centuries ago, they basically erased thousands of indigenous realities in the process.
Yeah, completely wiped them out.
Right. I mean, a line drawn on parchment in London or Madrid suddenly dictated the names of rivers, the ownership of mountains, and...
So I'm just pausing there. I'm going to come to the interactive part, and this is where I can actually join in the podcast and ask questions. So I'll keep playing.
Right. I mean, a line drawn on parchment in London or Madrid suddenly dictated the names of rivers, the ownership of mountains.
Did they actually erase them, or were those indigenous understandings hidden and buried?
That is a fundamental question.
It really is. Did they?
Thank you for jumping in with that.
That distinction is absolutely key.
Our source material actually speaks directly to this very idea of erasure versus survival.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Okay, so you can actually ask questions and participate in that podcast. Let's come back to our studio. Let's have a look at our explainer video.
This is happening on the ground. We're seeing automatic speech recognition being developed for the Seneca language in North America. There are text-to-speech models giving a new digital voice to the Maori language. And maybe most importantly, AI is helping tackle that core challenge of data scarcity that's held back digital tools for so many indigenous languages, giving them a real fighting chance in the digital age.
Okay, so we can see that it creates an explainer video with graphics, once again, just to help us kind of understand that information.
Africa and Asia.
This is about us diving into huge amounts of information or specific information and just that information. So all kinds of things can be done with this tool to help with our general lives. Ngā mihi.